Alright guys, so Servited Idol Avenger has just dropped. It's now officially released globally. So for the past 2 months, I've been playing the game. So today I want to do a quick beginner's guide going over some of the stuff I guess I wish I knew when I first started my account. And almost like a Q&A because we're going to go over some of the basic stuff, but something that you probably won't understand straight away when starting the game. So let's just jump into it. Alright, so first and the most important one is the banner system. So the way our banner system works in the game is that it is based off your summon level. As you can see right now, I am level 10, which is max level, and I have obviously quite a high rate for legendaries. But when you're starting off, you're going to be all the way down here at level 1, which as you can see right now, the rate is 0.001, so very, very low chance, which means you shouldn't really be re-rolling. That's why I haven't made a guide on it, because you just shouldn't be re-rolling. Just get into the game, start playing, because, well, we'll get to it later on, but the uniques are actually most of the time better than legendaries, so we'll get into that later on. But yeah, to level up your summons, it's pretty simple. There is a little bar at the top, and the more you summon, the more you fill it up. And once you reach the pity, you then go to level 2. You hit the pity on level 2, you then go to level 3, while also getting some pretty good rewards too. Actually, do get a lot better when you level it up as well. But essentially, your goal is to get towards level 5, because at level 5, you go from 0.05 towards 0.1, which is like a double increase rate. The reason why is because on the beta for us, we weren't able to summon any legendary until level 5, so at least for you guys, while the rate is definitely lower, at least you have a chance to pull legendaries, because when I started, I had no chance of pulling legendaries. So yeah, you want to get to level 5 to get the big rate up increase, and then at level 6, you get a small rate up increase. That's not important. What is important at level 6 is that you do now have the chance to summon on the actual rate up banners. These banners are a little bit different than the regular banner because, well, there's two main things. One, you have the rate up increase for, of course, the new character, which is what you're summoning for, but also as well, you cannot spend your tickets, which you get by just playing the game, on the actual rate up banner. As you can see, the ticket does change towards this ticket right here, and the only way to get this ticket is by spending actual money in the game, which, once again, after playing the game for 2 months, you don't need to do that. You do get enough diamonds, or you get diamonds to summon on these actual banners, and you want to do that instead. You can also spend diamonds on this banner, as you can see, which is what you should do while going up to level 5, level 6. Of course, the tickets will help you out and help you level up faster. I guess the big question right now is, I'm going to get asked a lot probably, is should I be spending diamonds on the standard banner? Yes and no. If you really want to play the game up to me, basically, and just spend tickets only on this banner, and then eventually, over time, get towards level 5 and level 6, and you definitely can do that, but it'll be a very slow process. I would say, when I started the game, I sped through, spending as much diamonds as I could on this banner whenever I did get some diamonds, and I eventually got towards level 5 and level 6, and afterwards, I was able to pity, you know, barn, which is now reset, but I did manage to complete the full banner free to play by spending, was it 160,000 gems, and as you can see right now, I still have enough to do another pity, plus even summon for obviously the new Meliodas. So yeah, I definitely recommend spending diamonds on this banner as much as you can until you get towards level 6. Once you get level 6, stop spending diamonds on this banner because there's no need to, and start saving for actual pities and rate up for other characters. So yeah, I definitely recommend spending diamonds on this banner just to get towards level 5 and level 6, just because the progression, if you take too long, then you may actually miss out on this actual Meliodas banner and also the barn banner, which are only out for basically a week, right? Obviously Melee for 2 weeks. So the big question right now is, what banner should I summon on out of the two? Now obviously Melee just dropped. I don't know how good this character is going to be. I'm sure by looking at his kit, I already know he's probably going to be the best red DPS in the game. However, Barn though is, I think, the better pick here. Now unfortunately for you lot, you only have a week to get there, where for me I had 2 months to save for him. But again, a 7-star Barn has allowed me to clear through basically all the content, apart from obviously the hard difficulty. But the reason why Barn is so good, has a pretty good ultimate ability, which does decrease the final attack, which is, once again, when every single boss in this game is just one solo boss, decreasing his final attack is actually pretty big, right? But also as well, he has got his tier 2 skill, which does give your whole team 10 plus energy, which is what you use to use ultimate moves in this game. So constantly recycling and reaching the end half of your actual ultimate moves is obviously very, very good. So I would prioritize Barn because he's more of a little bit of a team buffer, where Meliodas, the Lost Vein one, is just going to be more of a damage dealer from the looks of his kit. But then again, you only have a week to do it, so I guess if you can't hit pity or go really deep into this banner, then your only choice is to summon 4 Meliodas, which I still think will probably be good enough anyway. Alright, so for team building, the max people you can have on one team is 8, and in order to get more people on your team, you do have to level up your tavern by simply maxing out your attack, defense, and HP. And once you fully max out, you're going to get 180 stars, which you can then use to upgrade any part of the tavern you want to. However, if you want to get more people on your team, you want to be leveling up the massive boss orb, because as you can see, it will increase the Hawk card rewards, but also as well increase your hero team limit. Obviously, you can only do that once per level theme. So once you do upgrade an orb, you'd have to get towards the next theme tavern to get the next orb. But when you do get towards a new tavern, check to see if you can get a actual extra team member by leveling that up, and then I would focus on upgrading that one first, because, well, having an extra member on your team can make you clear through like an extra like 50 to 60, even 100 stages. The next one is ultimate move order. Alright, so the way the game works is that the AI fights for you, but what you do have control over is actually how your characters use your ultimate. So, of course, the big thing in this game is to use your buffers at the early start of it, which is once again why I think Barn's good, because you do get more actual, you know, ultimate move gauge, basically, to where you can get towards the end half of your ultimate move cycle. But guys, trust me, it does matter. There will be a few stages, and I want to point this one out, where certain characters have a bunch of buffs. You can probably see it on screen now. This is like the Veil buff, where for like 5 seconds they absorb damage, basically meaning they can't take damage for 5 seconds. There's also a few bosses towards like the later 1000 stages where they actually have the immortality buff, to where, once again, when stages only last 30 seconds, then becoming immortal for like 5 to 10 seconds can be very, very annoying. So bringing a character like Belly, for example, which I do recommend you guys use, is obviously very good, because his ultimate move does remove all buffs off a target. So for this situation, for example, he will be actually very good in certain situations where characters do buff up. So you do have to try and time it properly to where he does use that ultimate buff removal when a boss actually does buff up. So there's some agency, like for example, if I put him on 6, he's more likely, or if I time it properly, he could buff remove. Where if I do put him on 3, it's possible Bellion could use the ultimate before the boss even buffs up, which will miss the opportunity to buff remove him. So, yeah, once again, pretty straightforward, but like I said, your actual ultimate order does matter. There's a few times in a few stages where I get super close to defeating it, and I just move maybe Meliodas forward, and then now I'm able to defeat it. So, if you get very close, go in and just fix up your ultimate order, because that may help out. Okay, so I know when starting a game that legendary characters are the ones you want to pull for, because, well, they're the big shiny ones. If anything, they're the more popular characters from the actual series. However, I will say uniques are actually going to be probably the best characters for you for a very long time, unless you plan to spend money, because as you can see right now, I've basically finished the main storyline. I've gone pretty far, almost halfway through the actual hard difficulty. I've defeated most, if not all, of the actual, you know, PvE stages. And I've done that with basically all my unique characters. Obviously, Barn, Max Dupe does help out a lot here. And of course, King as well. Those are the only 2 legendaries that I do use. I have not started to use, obviously, Galen, because he is at a higher dupe level. And maybe thinking about using, you know, Deanna and Hendrix a little bit. But generally speaking, since the uniques are easy to get, you can get them duped out a lot more easier, meaning they can go towards higher levels, because in this game the level cap is behind the dupe level. So while yes, technically speaking, every legendary in this game is better than every single unique in the game, but because you can't get them duped out easier and you can't increase the level past 50 or 60, they're not going to be that usable for you. So while yes, it's good to pull legendaries and you should be happy to pull them, definitely be excited about pulling unique characters too, because I know when I was summoning, getting Kane, getting Rens, I was actually pretty happy about it, because I actually wanted those characters, because they actually are good in the game. You can see my tier list on screen now. I do think it's a little bit outdated, because they now buffed up every legendary, and it also as well, I definitely slept on some characters, but I think for like a general term tier list, it's pretty good, just to see, hey, the S and A rank are actually the good characters. You can just focus on those top characters, and you can clear for most of the game, assuming you max out Barn and King too. Also, some quick information to know when to use actual legendary characters, and that is at 1 star, they do get a massive stat buff. So when you're early into the game, at least for me right now, I'm not able to use any 1 star, you know, legendaries, because they're not that good. However, when you do get them towards 3 star, like Ganon, for example, and obviously the top line up here, they do have stats similar towards a 7-star unique character, which you can see right now, my uniques have just gone towards 8-star. So Galan supposedly does have just a little bit worse stats than a unique at obviously 7-star. However, Galan's kit is pretty good too. So it does depend on what legendary character you do get towards obviously 3-star. But I guess towards the endgame content and you know, the goal of when to start using legendary characters, you want to get them towards 3-star. I think that's probably the sweet spot. All right, so quickly, I want to focus on 2 things here, and that is the Golden Hero XP dungeon and also the Lab Sample dungeon. This stage right here is about killing as much minions or all the minions as fast as possible within a time limit. So my go-to characters are always just the AoE ones here. Mod is by far probably the best character you can get, especially as a free-to-play, as he's once again going to be able to do a bunch of AoE skills. If you play him, you can see his ultimate does insane damage, just hitting everyone on the field. And yeah, once again, just unique characters. Like all of these characters have a bunch of AoE skills, which are always obviously very, very good, just to get big nukes of kills. And the Lab Sample dungeon does change depending on what difficulty you're on, but from stage 1 to 50, it is the Red Demon, which you want to bring blue characters. But once you do get towards 51 and above, and for me, I just bring obviously Bond because he's obviously insane, but also, you know, the red and green DPSs that I do have. In fact, if you actually get Meliodas, you have to be insane for this actual game mode right now. But yeah, if you ever do get stuck, it's an idle game. Just wait until the next day to where you can do all your dailies again. And once you do all your dailies, you're going to get a bunch of upgrades, a bunch of progression to where then at that point, you can probably then clear them. Like I said, this is an idle game, so the best way to progress in this game is not necessarily by spending money. If you want to do that, you definitely can, but just by waiting. That's the simplest way to put it. And then finally, your energy consumption definitely actually does matter. So the more you upgrade, the more energy you can hold. However, this button down here, what you can do when you do get towards certain milestones, you can then increase the multiplier, spending 20 energy, which will then give you 20 times the rewards when you do a one of these right here. So let's see what we get. So we actually got a jackpot in a way, right? So now we get obviously 60 energy when we just spent 20. So what you kind of want to do is fill it up as much as possible and then try and get the high jackpots while doing the highest multiplier. If you have like 70 energy, I definitely recommend waiting until it fills up to where you can hopefully do 10 times reward and then even more. Now, it should be noted as well, if you want to get higher multipliers, you do have to level up your tavern. If you upgrade the main actual limit right here, which will give you a bunch of rewards, you can see your maximum card multiplier can increase to 100. At least early into the game, you may not have the highest multiplier, but I think generally speaking, getting towards like 20 and 10 is like where you want to go towards, because that's what I do most of the time. Obviously, doing this does consume your energy faster, which is kind of what you want to do because you don't want to be spending hours just doing 3 and 10s. But also, if you do get a big jackpot like we've got at the start, then you're going to get a bunch more rewards too. So as you can see right now, we just got above 300. So boom, I can now change towards 30, which means now I can actually get more. Or if I get a jackpot, I'm now going to get more rewards. Rather than 20 times, I'm going to get 30 times. But I also have less chances to actually roll here because it is obviously consuming more energy. So there we go. We got an actual jackpot here. We get a little mini game. And then now, because we're on the 30 times reward, if we do get a big actual hit here, we are going to be getting a ton of rewards. So let's see. I think that's a good chest. So we got, what do we get? 71 mil. I think that might have been the highest. I'm not entirely too sure. Also, when you're doing your energy, there's sometimes you could actually get some actual buffs, like getting final damage. If you do get that, I definitely recommend progressive for story mode because that could help you. So yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully it did help out to help you start your progression in 17 Idle Adventures. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.